Good afternoon, everyone.
Is it okay to have a preference of race? My opinion, and this is only my opinion, I think it's okay to have a preference of race. Everyone has their own, different strokes for different folks. I agree. I think people have differences, or they have their own preferences. You know what I mean? Everyone has their own, people are in their lane, things like that. It's
the
that's just what I
freak
think.
stuff in the bedroom. If race sprinkles is put into that context, what do we think of that?
How would race be put into the bedroom?
Use your imagination.
Do all blank think the same? Let's see this, boys. What do you guys think?
I have unintentionally
Been racist towards my partner? What? I guess I can see that could happen.
2, 1.
He's laughing. He's like, yeah. Oh my god.
I've definitely been.
That's what's crazy about interracial relationships. You need to learn from.
I wrote it down.
So we had an argument, and I was upset, and I had previously expressed how the stereotype or the stigma on angry black men or angry black women and how that makes me feel. And so we got into an argument. I was an angry black man. But in that moment of anger, he actually called me an angry black man, which
is the worst thing.
Made me go crazy because that was the one thing that I talked to him about. So that was a really bad fight, and it never happened again.
Right.
See, people
learn.
learn.
I'm strongly disagree, but I think as just a white person, I am just inherently ignorant. So I think I'm gonna move to somewhat agree. Dating a black man has completely opened my eyes more than I already thought they were open.
To be fair, you've never said anything that made me feel like, damn, she's racist.
I'm from the Bay, so it used to be in my vocabulary where I would say the N-word with the A. I would rap it. I would do just those things, but my slang in general would just tick her off. And then I became conscious of it, and I really like.
Let me tell you something straight. Even me, right? I've used that word in the past too. I'm not afraid to admit that I've used that. I've literally used that word before. But then over time, once you once you mature or just grow up, once you grow up, you start having that you can just basically learn from your mistakes and you become an adult about it, right? It's obviously it's bad to say, and you can't say that, it's obvious, and the history behind that word, obviously it's a bad thing. So it's I guess you could say also from your background, where you came from, right? So I mean for me, growing up, I was a part of a colored community and things like that, and you kind of heard these things all the time, with your friends and things like that, it's and people didn't really mind it either too, so it was just a different way of growing. So you kind of just once you actually learn from what it is, once you learn, you basically you kind of have to move on from that, and you learn from your mistakes.
I liked her, or I still do, of course. I love you. I started changing the way I speak. I feel like she should be over here too. She would do Asian accents.
Uh-oh.
The only time that I feel like I could be offending Asian people is when I'm mocking you when you're mocking your mother.
Oh my God.
So I only do the accent when he does it, making fun of his mom. Before that, I never did that, so.
See, you can have even healthy jokes, I guess. If both parties understand, obviously, right?
Interracial relationship.
Hot takes.
Oh boy.
Sex gets steamy since you are interracial.
Oh, it's fetish stuff.
I mean, I think it adds to.
I like the differences between us.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, there's not any weird role play or anything. But yeah, definitely, makes it fun.
I will say, when I'm not with you, people will be oh, I know why you're with the black guy, and it's that's super disrespectful, because it's
no.
That's definitely on the line of like fetishizing like
Right,
a
right.
race.
There's not many sexual stereotypes about white men. But like walking down the street, especially dating an Asian woman, like I get looks from men all the time, being like, "Oh, like
Like,
right?"
she must
and,
be
like,
freaky.
Like people like
Is that
actually
what
like
you're saying?
calling me out while I'm right next to her.
Interracial relationships can be a fetish, and that's okay if it's love too.
And that's okay. Let's see here. Interracial relationships can be a fetish, and that's okay if it's love too. Low key, I'm gonna have to say yes. I agree. Like, okay, not necessarily. Okay, I think the word fetish is too strong, but if you have a thing for a certain, like, I guess color, or like, you know, race or background or whatever, and like you like them, then yeah, I mean, like, it makes things interesting for you, right? Like, I mean, I think I agree. I mean, okay, I have a thing for white girls. I like white girls. So if I were to like date a white girl, I'll be like, dang, she fine. And I like her too. Like, that's
even if
just like,
you
yeah.
love the person, you just fetishizing that person is
feel like it
good at all.
devalues
Yeah, and
it.
you're devaluing the entire community in itself.
I think there's always room for growth, so I can understand if it starts as a fetish and then along, you know, the relationship, they actually fall in love with that person and they realize that, okay, it wasn't okay for me to initially just like you based off of that.
If it's between
Kinda feel
two
like some of these people are
consenting
lying
adults,
with the
the
discreet
freak
part.
stuff in the bedroom,
I
if
think.
race sprinkles is put into that context, what do we think of that? Like, it's just in the bedroom, or is it like possible to just keep it in the bedroom?
How would race be put into the bedroom?
Use your imagination. I'm not.
It doesn't even matter if you're consenting or not, it's still wrong.
Yeah.
Right? Like you want to say that stuff, you want to do that stuff because of the stereotypes you have of those people. And that doesn't really sit right with me whatsoever.
I have always wanted
mixed babies. I don't think so. No, I don't know. It's for me. I never like think of that. I never think of like I want mixed babies. Think of that. I don't know. I don't think like this. I don't know.
3,
I don't
2,
think of this.
1, go.
This is gonna be an interesting one. She's only like one person.
At one point in my life, I kind of wanted to have mixed babies with almost every race. I don't know if that's weird.
Oh, you know what's funny? Back then, when I was like a dumbass like middle school kid, I was like, for some reason, I was thinking like, dude, I want to have sex with every single race in the entire world. I'm like, what the heck?
But I just wanted. I'm real into genetics. I would like to see how my kids would turn out. And
But that'd be really interesting.
As an mixed race person myself, you don't have a group of people to really be around. I mean, sometimes you connect with one side, sometimes you connect with another side. But for me, it sucked actually a lot. I've accepted myself. I'm black and proud. I love the fact that I have both of these cultures and I really don't care. I just have to teach my kids that because of your skin tone, you either gain privileges or lose.
I think it just comes down to some certain situations, right? When you're Hispanic, right? Hispanics like for me, right? I want to have a kid that speaks Spanish. That's what I want. Like okay, I guess my thinking is like, okay, if I marry a Hispanic girl, obviously, most likely my kid's gonna speak Spanish. But what if I marry like an Asian girl, like a white girl or a black girl or something like that, right? And they don't speak Spanish. I'm like, what am I supposed to do to help my kid learn the most like Spanish? Like, how can I do this? Like, I sometimes think like that. Like, it's just, I'm like, I get kind of stressed out about it. I'm like, dude, I want my kid to speak Spanish. I want to keep my culture alive. That's basically it.
Lose privileges.
Like I've had people at work like will be talking about themselves and I'll show them a picture of Ivan and they'll be like, oh my god, I totally wanted black babies like when I was like a teenager, and it's just like, this is like, Build-A-Bear, like
Right.
this is a human, like
True,
so,
I agree.
And I actually have an 8-year-old mixed child. It's been very challenging, but I've had to stick it out because I want to be a good father and I care about my kid. So
This isn't Build-A-Bear, this is real life.
True, exactly.
And in my mind, I wanted to have kids that was exactly my skin tone or very close to it and look like me, because I am conceited as well. Where the hell I'm gonna find somebody to do that? and it work out and they're just the perfect wife. I don't believe in that anymore.
It's funny because that was actually something we talked about when we first started dating. That became an insecurity of mine. I was like, so why are we dating? Because I cannot provide absolutely any of that for you. And so I understand, like I said, why he feels that way, why a lot of the Black community feels that way. So I'm just glad that I'm accepted now in our relationship for that.
I sometimes feel like I betrayed my own race.
Let's see, if I were to date a different race, I honestly don't think I would feel like I betrayed my own race. The only time I feel like I would betray my own race is if my child does not speak Spanish. That's literally the only thing that I would feel like I betray my, I guess, my family, because I'm like how are they supposed to speak with like my child? How are they supposed to speak with my child if like I don't know. Like I just want to keep my culture alive, and that's basically it. But yeah,
3,
I think just that.
2, 1, go.
Yeah. I definitely feel like that, man. I feel like, especially where I'm from, I did my people a disservice by playing into that stereotype. And knowing what I stand for now, it's hard for me to feel like I'm gonna be taken serious in the future if I ever want to speak on controversial topics. My people won't respect what I say because like it doesn't add up, my views and stuff. And then I'm dating somebody outside of my race behind the scenes. I feel like I lose respect in a way.
Me growing up, like I was never always seen as Black, whether it was because of how I looked or how I talked or my culture. But then when I get with someone who's not Black, right, they're like, "Oh, you're betraying us." Oh, like I get comments literally in my DM like, "Oh,
it's like
Alex, you're not with us no more."
For him, it's
right?
definitely I
and
can
I'm
see
like,
that. Yeah.
Do you want me or do you not want me? You know, it doesn't bother me if you don't want me, and I understand it is what it is. But don't pick and choose and don't nitpick little things, right? If you want me to be part of your community, then accept me for who I am. Don't say that because I'm half, I don't get to participate in certain topics or certain discussions.
Honestly, I kind of feel like with people who are half like mixed, or like I just feel like it's hard for them because like they have so many like backgrounds, right? Say, don't you think that? What? That okay, like with people who are like mixed race, like so let's say like yeah, like I think this guy's like Asian and like Black or something, but yeah, I think he's Blasian. He looks like he's Blasian, but like he would like kind of struggle because like because he's Black, right? Like you can see him, he's Black, but he's like I don't know, like if he dates like a different race, like they would feel like, I guess his community would feel like he's like betraying them. I don't know. It just I don't even know. It's just hard. I'm like seeing so many different has its benefits. Do you think being linked to another race has its benefits?
I think it could be like more connected. I don't know.
What does that mean?
To your race?
No, if it's asking if you were to date another race, do you think it has some benefits? Like if you were to date a white girl, do you think you had benefits?
Probably not. I mean,
if you did a Black girl, a white girl, an Asian girl, do you think there's gonna be benefits?
I actually don't know.
I know, it's crazy, huh?
Yeah.
That actually seems kind of complicated.
Yeah, it does.
It's actually.
Interracial couple.
Actually, I don't know. I don't know about this one. This is weird.
3, 2, 1, go.
I actually don't even know.
I guess I feel like the word like linked kind of confused me, because I feel like experiencing another person's experience, like what their culture, like the way that they live, is definitely personally beneficial. But I think that like in terms of how others view me because I'm dating a white man, I don't find that beneficial. Like I feel like people might have like preconceptions about who I am because I'm an Asian person who's chosen to date a white man. Yeah, I had a question for, I guess, other people. Like, do you ever feel like being with a white person like could shield you from like discrimination, or like that they could like stand up for you in a certain context? Like if you were in like an altercation with the police or something, like would having a white person there, like
sure,
right?
Sure.
It would be helpful.
In that sense, and that's what I kind of thought of when I heard the question, right? And I was listening to you. It's just like, I don't know, even a customer service experience. I don't know, just random experiences where the person on the other side might judge me based on me being Black, but versus someone else calling, or him calling, and it's a whole different experience. So they might treat us individuals differently So there might be a whole different experience based on just that.
I feel like an outsider with my partner's family.
Oh, if I were to date like a white girl, dude, like I can see that I would be like out of place. I can see that. I can definitely see myself feeling out of place.
1, go.
So I'm sorry, Grace.
Oh.
In our lives, especially today, recently, politics plays such a huge part in it. And because you come from a conservative household, it does,
I see.
that's different from where I come from. And it does make me a little bit uncomfortable to know that I'm gonna be meeting people and have to have close relationships with them, and they don't value what I feel like I value in my life.
He's actually the first black man I have ever dated and the only person of color within like my family, just in of itself. And so certain members of my family with the same political values as us like had to kind of confide in me like, hey, we support you with whoever you date, like we're here for you. So it was interesting to kind of see the different sides of my family members that I didn't necessarily know.
When I met her father for the first time, we were walking to get food and we saw the Ronald Reagan Museum or something like that. And he's like, oh yeah, I love Ronald Reagan, right? And you can have your own personal opinions on presidents, but Ronald Reagan was like, he's like the main reason why black people are incarcerated. He's not a very good person to black people. So I was just kind of cracking up about that, and I was kind of awkward, and I know you kind of bit your tongue on that as well.
It was hard to not say anything.
But I was thinking about saying something to maybe like be like, oh, I don't know about that, but I didn't want to like argue with you.
Coming next to Universal Studio Hollywood.
I know.
That's crazy. They actually announced it now.
But like,
they don't know when.
Oh, never mind. I see.
Father on the very first day that I met him.
Yeah.
That wouldn't be
weird.
Very fun. Yeah. I don't know if I can exactly truly connect with him because of that. He's a very nice person, obviously, and he makes me feel comfortable, but at the same time I have to recognize who I am as a person.
I would say I somewhat agree because with my partner's family, there's a language barrier. So I guess it's my responsibility now to try to learn the language, but sometimes when we're together, they're talking, I have no idea what's going on. So I think that's a bit of why I feel like an outsider. But other than that, I feel welcomed.
I wish we were the same race. 3, 2, 1, go.
I'll start.
I've never thought of that ever.
That would just be
Wishing
the
the same
default
race.
easiest way to navigate through life. But definitely, obviously, growth happens when you're in interracial relationships. But yeah, that's kind of why I chose somewhat agree.
Yeah, I guess it, like you were saying, like I just feel like it would be easier in some aspects, and then for me, just like being mixed race, I have felt very like disconnected from my culture, so I feel like dating someone who was like Chilean or who was Korean would help me. But I also agree, like obviously if you weren't white, you wouldn't be like you, and so I don't like wish that.
Yeah, exactly. Because like you're dating them for them.
Like what I gain. It kind of sounds weird coming out because it's like, what do you guys get out of dating white people? But like, white people, I'd be like, we learn a lot.
I think it's interesting that everybody's saying that they feel it's easier, because I feel like it would be more difficult, me having a black man and raising a black family, that it would be more difficult if I was maybe with someone who was white, who could probably have benefits in other ways. I'm grateful for my husband, and I love being with him. And I think there's a lot of benefits just culturally.
And you guys, that is officially a wrap.
Taco wrap. I was like, I actually like this video. It was nice.
And then we also got you some
cute merch.
merch.
Give me some.
Nice.
Send them to me.